Well, the editor of SA Flyer magazine, Guy Letch, has imagined a world where Etihad actually buys a significant stake in SAA, and the alternative reality looks rosy. Well, he joins us now. Thank you for being with us, Guy. Let's start with the real, the strategic partnership. As I understand it, you could fly to Abu Dhabi before. Now you can go even further because you'll hop off a SAA plane and onto a Etihad plane. Is that what this means?
Well, funnily enough, no. I mean, you couldn't really go to Abu Dhabi because you'd go to Dubai, you'd go to the but it's the key component of a code-share arrangement. I believe that these days, when people get on board an airplane, they don't really know what airline they're flying anymore. You know, it's only the uniforms of the air hostesses which really can make a difference. So SAA is moving away from its previous vision of bringing the world to Africa and taking Africa to the world in its own aircraft. It's now added the caveat, well, saying, well, we'll take them, but perhaps in other people's aircraft. So if, for instance, you wanted to go to Beijing, in the past you could get on a flight in Johannesburg or Tambo and fly all the way to Beijing in an SAA aircraft. Now you could get on a flight, actually an Etihad flight, even though you've bought an SAA ticket, and end up having gone via Abu Dhabi to Beijing, but on an Etihad flight.
So a good strategy.
I think it's a good strategy. I think it's not just a good strategy, it's an essential strategy. These days, airlines have to cooperate. They have to bulk up, if only to achieve better purchasing power, and also just to be able to offer what they now call their clients, their passengers, a proper range of destinations, because increasingly we've seen airlines actually reduce the number of destinations they serve. Just think a few years ago, SAA used to fly to Paris, it used to fly to Rome, it used to fly to Munich. These are all destinations that have been lost to the actual partnerships and to the code-shares and to the alliances.
Now, you've imagined this wonderful world where SAA starts making money because it doesn't only have a strategic partnership with Etihad, but Etihad buys in. What additional benefits would a sale have?
It has to be said that the situation I was imagining really sprung out of the Etihad acquisition of 20% of Air Seychelles, and that turned Air Seychelles around. And in so many ways, SAA could benefit from the same exercise. Look, it would probably be premature right now because SAA really doesn't have much value to buy into, given that it's...
And government's reluctant as well.
And that is the other key determinant. And this, for SAA in particular, the government has gone, I could say, backwards a lot over the past 10 years, where 10 years ago it was quite keen, or would certainly consider privatization of the whole or part of SAA. These days it's just not prepared to consider that at all. Minister Gigaba considers SAA to be a strategic asset. He says it brings in 100 billion rand into the economy, and they need it to fulfill whatever strategic objectives or development objectives that they have for the airline, and so they won't really readily consider actually selling off a bit. But nonetheless, it's enticing to think that they could make an honest airline out of it by having a real partner on board who would actually be making sure that it was driven by the bottom line and not by necessarily political objectives.
All right, well, thank you for your time this evening. That was the editor of SA Flyer, Guy Letch. I'll have your markets for you in the next half hour.
News that moves. eNCA.com.